We, as the news family, we're talking to Mark about, some symptoms, and we're talking like a couple, 2 or 3 weeks before he was diagnosed. When did you notice symptoms starting or something was different? And what were you noticing?
I would say maybe 2 to 3 weeks prior to diagnosis. Just acid reflux had gotten tremendously more aggressive. It was very bothersome to him. Belching, hiccups, not hiccups, but just belching. He was belching more. Fatigue, but he'd always take naps, like just over the years. But I think, and I wonder if, like when cancer first started riddling his body, I don't even know if maybe it started affecting him years ago and we just did not even know, because he would have to take naps a lot of the times, and we just chalked it up to him working the schedule that he did.
Yeah.
Just needing more rest because he only gets so many hours. So not really sure if that was a part of that as well. Prior to, like a week or so prior, noticed bloating in his stomach. And something just didn't feel right to him. He wasn't sleeping well, so loss of sleep, and then he just felt like something wasn't right. And then about a week before, he noticed that his stomach, although I didn't really see it, I was like, it doesn't look that bloated to me, but then after really looking, I was like, wow, okay, it is getting noticeably bigger.
I didn't notice jaundice.
No, didn't see
His
any of that
color didn't
at all.
look off until after the diagnosis to me.
Right.
Do they know, were doctors ever able to tell you, hey, we think you've been sick this long, or they think this was just a super aggressive?
Super aggressive. I remember asking at one point, like, do we have a prognosis, or do you know how long? And of course I did that in private because I didn't want to. And I was told, oh, honey, he's not going anywhere. We don't have to worry about that. We had no clue. Even the doctors had no clue.
Are there some symptoms that maybe you saw that you now give you pause, like, oh, maybe that was a sign? We talked a little bit about the cognitive thing, which I've found is actually a thing. Were there some symptoms that started that seemed off?
Just the acid reflux, and over time, like I said, just the memories. It was like, I know I said this, or I told him certain things, and he says, no, you didn't. Just the memory was just not the greatest, but I'm not sure how much of that was really affected by, but it just makes sense after hearing. It was really just his body attacking from the inside, which we didn't know what was happening. He went to the doctor and got an appointment. They tried to set up an appointment with him for an upper GI, but they told him they couldn't see him until December 20th, 23rd. So that next day, he got up and went to the emergency room because he said something just doesn't seem right. And that's when they did the CAT scan, and that's when I got the phone call.
And everything's changed.
Everything changed. Had I known, or had we known, I would have gone with him, but
yeah.
we thought maybe it's an ulcer or just something very small, nothing major at all. And I still remember the phone call.
Yeah. Was it from Mark?
It was.
What did he say to you?
And he was so calm.
Mm-hmm.
He just said, it's not an ulcer or anything. They just told me I have stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And I vividly remember because I was on my way to a photo shoot. Mm-hmm. And I had to cancel because I wanted to go be with him.
Now, this all happened right before Thanksgiving, right?
It was literally the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So the doctors weren't even going to be able to see him for another month at
Right.
that point.
Right. But he was smart enough to know something's not right. I need to take matters into my own hands at this point.
Do you think he, because I think Mark took good care of himself. He wasn't one of those men who was too proud to go see a doctor.
Oh,
right?
not at all.
Yeah.
And it's just so ironic, prior to the diagnosis, he had just gotten blood work done. He got a colonoscopy because colon cancer ran in his family, so he always stayed on top of that. Blood work came back good. He was on cholesterol medicine, so his cholesterol was a little higher than they'd like it to be, so he was always on medicine for that. But I mean, months prior to finding out, he was trying to eat better. He even went like vegetarian.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, he stopped eating meat. Well, I mean, he was buying like like plant-based. He started trying to do a plant-based diet because he wanted to be healthier and just do better. He was still running. He was watching what he was eating, so he was trying to do all the right things.
Yeah. Did he have a history of pancreatic cancer in his family?
No. So I remember doing a little research after he passed, and I do remember at that appointment that they said that his blood sugar was a little higher, and diabetes is a big part of that.
Yeah.
After doing some research, I just think that the pancreas just working harder than it should have and just couldn't sustain anymore.
Yeah. So they did notice that in that blood work. When was that, like a month before? Or?
That was several weeks before, because like I said, everything came back normal or good. It's just his blood sugar was just a little elevated. But they didn't seem concerned at all.
It sounds, they call this the silent killer, and they're saying, well, there's these symptoms, but they don't usually show until it's
too late.
Yeah.
And this was one of the most aggressive cases that they had seen in a while, according to the doctor, because we just had no clue. It would literally be 3 weeks from the time he was diagnosed to the day that he passed.
Yeah. Had he been losing weight prior to, or he was like, I want to make sure we have these conversations, during commercial breaks, and he, I want to be healthier, I'm trying to lose a little weight or whatever it was. And then the doctor I talked to said, if you're trying to lose weight, okay, well then you're trying to lose weight. But if you're losing weight and you're not trying to, there's a symptom. But that didn't.
So I noticed that after the diagnosis, that's when the weight loss hit, because I want to say maybe 2 weeks before he passed, maybe. I mean, there wasn't very much time, but he lost, because I remember we went to we had a visit with the cancer doctor and getting the whole rundown and trying to figure out and how we're going to move forward. And he lost 40 pounds in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And
we just thought that just can't be right. But I remember like watching him take off his shirt, and I thought maybe that I was just going crazy. It was like, wow, he looks so much thinner. Like I can see his bones like in his back. And I was like, maybe I'm just, but no, that was the case. Once we, even with the doctor, we confirmed, yeah, you've lost about 40 pounds in 2 weeks. That's when it became like really real, and it literally just spiraled from there.
Yeah, I think he posted a picture of the family together, and I hadn't seen him since
it
right before Thanksgiving.
So ghostly. Like I don't even like looking at that picture, because that's not him.
Yeah. Here we are, Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. Here we are wearing our purple. I think for very different reasons than we thought we were going to be sitting here talking about it a year ago, like how that has changed your life, that diagnosis.
Like I tell people, I think I'm even just a whole different person because he's not here anymore.
Yeah.
He was my world. And it was one thing to not see him as often because he was with his work family. So it's a big difference between him not being home because of work and then just not coming back.
Yeah. Do you have a message, as we try and get the word out about awareness and about symptoms, about this god-awful disease? Do you have any words for folks out there?
Change your lifestyle if you know that you're not eating very healthy. Just try to do the best that you can for your body and for your family, because it doesn't just affect that one person, it affects the whole family. Just eat better so that you can feel better, more importantly. I can't really tell people what to do, and you just don't know because of where the pancreas is inside of your body. You just don't really know. Just be careful what you're eating and what you're putting into your body.
Listen to yourself, listen to your body. He did.
Yes. That's another thing. Just if you know that something's not right, listen to your gut and listen to yourself.
And speaking with some of the oncologists, I also spoke with the genetic counselor at Centra, and one of the components, if you do have a history within your family, is the genetic counseling as something to help you understand whether this is something you need to worry about or not. Is that something that you've explored at all, or are you just...
So his daughters wanted to look into that, so we did. For the three of them, and turns out that it was just unusable because the cancer had riddled his blood and his body so badly that they couldn't do anything.
Wow.
So we did try, because I know that's something that they were interested in and curious for their own sake and for Max as well, but I believe one of his daughters actually went a step further and she got some testing done, and she does not have the marker, or that's not something she has to worry about.
Have you encouraged Max, as you're growing older, you need to listen to your body? Or is that not a conversation we're having yet?
Oh no, so ever since he was smaller, I've always watched what he put into his body or what I put into his body, and I'm just constantly on him. I don't really let him eat a lot of sugary foods. He doesn't really have a sweet tooth, unlike his father,
Yeah.
which is kind of good for him. But I just really watch his sugar intake, and he's been pretty good about it, and he goes with the flow. He doesn't fight me on it, which is just really good. So I'm just trying to slowly but surely get him on that boat of just eating healthy. And I said, see, if you start now, it'll just be a part of your life and your world, and you won't have to make any big major changes later on.
How has pancreatic cancer changed your life?
It's made me definitely look at things differently, and realize that your life can change in an instant, which we all know things can happen, but when it really happens to you, it's real. I never imagined raising a child on my own, because I just knew he would be there and we'd be there together to watch him grow. So that's just one of the big major things, not having him there. There are TV shows I watch, I'm like, oh, Mark would love this, or like, oh, I want to tell him about this show, or just things happening in Max's life that I would love to share with him, or just having him there to hear his laugh. I miss his laugh. Or just holding his hand, or just even the little small little things. It's almost like we never happened. It's almost like it's all just a dream.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very different.
I know the community is really, rallied around you, and I think a lot of people have maybe done the test and done the things that they had been putting off. I got a colonoscopy. I got my mammogram. I there were things that I thought, okay, if I've learned anything, it's you got to take care of your body and do the things you need to do. So that's a legacy that Mark has left with me, and I probably think a lot of people, just make sure you do what you can do, right?
Just take care of yourself the best that you can. I mean, I don't know what else or how else to stress that, because it is the silent killer, and I wish there was a way that they, as a part of all the testing, that should be one of those things that should be an automatic screening, because it is so prevalent and it is so deadly.
Yeah. You're saying it's changed a lot in the last 5 years, the approach and the treatment, and the oncologist said I imagine the next 5 to 10 years will be even farther along. So I guess at least hope for the future and hope for our children and, generations.
I think it starts at home. You just have to get into a rhythm or get into a pattern where you're just trying to eat healthier. And I know it's hard because it's so expensive to eat healthier. So I know he was a snacker. He loved ice cream. He loved sugary cookies. He loved pies. You know that very well, I'm sure.
There wasn't a chocolate chip cookie that man would.
Oh, yes.
But, yeah, I just, I think everybody thanks you for letting us walk with you. I know it's a very private thing to go through, so.
But it's been such a help to have people alongside me and just to keep me going. Although I think Mark actually keeps me going, because I know he would not want me to sit around and feel sorry for myself. There are bills to pay, there are things to do, you have to keep going. We have a son, you need to raise him. You have to keep going. Spains are not quitters, we have to keep going. And I feel that he's with us, watching over us. He's still taking care of us.
I'm sure everyone misses his weekly reports on Max's soccer.
Or just, hey, sunshines in the mornings. I still have people who stop me, and I love talking about him. I will never stop talking about him. It's just, it's hard to, because I can't. I can move past, but I just cannot forget the times and the moments in the hospital and all the things that I saw and endured. I really sheltered Max from seeing all of that, so I think that has helped him process and heal a little more than I have. I remember we were in a hotel because we were traveling for soccer, and some celebrity had passed away, because he was looking on his phone, and he was like, do you know so and so? I said, I don't know who that is. And he says, oh, I know who would know. And he said, and he froze and he looked at me, and I said, it's okay. And then he said he would have known who it was anyways, but it was a moment where we both just froze, because I knew exactly what he was going to say. Dad would know. So it's just taking it day by day, trying to navigate the new life. And I'm trying to, any chance or opportunity that I do get, to couples or people that I know or people I don't know, get all of your information written down so that you can share that with your loved one, because it was devastating to try to go through all of his stuff and get all that situated and worked out, on top of just trying to process and deal with the fact that he's not coming back, having to figure out how to take care of everything.
Yeah.
So I just highly encourage people to make sure, get all of your stuff together. Make sure you share your information with your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Just make it easier on yourself, because that's so hard.
Yeah. Get your affairs in order.
Yes.
For everybody else.
Yes.
Well, thank you. It's easy to do an awareness story or story about symptoms and the medicine behind it, but I think Mark's diagnosis and death impacted us all so much in this community that you can't tell that story without the Spains being a part of it. I wish it wasn't that way. I miss him every day too.
Sometimes I talk to him, I'm like, you're supposed to be here. I needed you here.
Yeah.
But I can't be mad at him. I can't be mad at God. Obviously, he was needed more there than here. And he left such an impact on people. And people love to remind me about that. And I'm so thankful for that.
You're more thankful than it being hard. It's nice to hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. $10 is a long time to be someplace and not having a significant impact. But
and then I mean, he has been a part of my life pretty much a good half of my life. We met when I was 25. And we were together about 24 years. And married almost 18. So he was my world, and that was my life. And my life has just changed significantly since. So
pancreatic cancer just sucks.
I would never wish this on anyone.
Yeah.
And just to see how rapidly it all transpired, it was just the wildest thing to see. And I just felt so helpless.
Yeah. When you called me and I was in Christiansburg and you're like, Mark wants to see you and Noreen, I was like, okay, I'll be there. I'm out of town, I'll be there Monday. And, it just, everything happened so quickly.
And he really didn't want anyone to see him that way. And I will never forget a friend of ours, they came by. Mark asked if they could come by and help put a bed together. And they came by, and that was the last time they saw him. But I will never forget, as they were walking out of the door, he said, "Hey." And they looked back and he said, "Take care of my family." And I just felt for him, because it had to be one of the hardest things to ever tell anyone.
Yeah.
Is to take care of my family, because you can't be there to do it. So I will never forget that.
He was thinking of you. Yeah. I love that. I hate it, but thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've never loved anyone as much as I loved him, and I don't think I ever will. See, he was so special. But I knew after being with him for maybe 3 months, 3 to 6 months, I knew that he was the one. So.
Beautiful son and very talented.
Lots of memories, so many good memories. I regret not sitting by the bedside and just going over memories and dates and things that we did and playing songs that he liked. I was just in a space that it was so unfamiliar. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I have to give myself grace because I didn't know.
You have to give yourself grace because that was how everything was happening like this, you know.
And I'm so grateful for friends because there was a point where I felt like I had to pick and choose to be with my husband or be with my son. What do? I just didn't know that I had the community that I did until this situation. Because that's so hard on a person to have to pick between two people that you love so much. Mm-hmm. And they're both pretty much helpless at that point because he couldn't do anything and he's still just a child. So neither one could fend for themselves.
It's good to have a village.
I have a couple. So actually, like 3 have tribes. I have our soccer families and then I have the WSET family. So just outside of my friends too. So blessed is not even the word for what God has surrounded me with and given me.
The moment you had in the restaurant when you ordered the food, would you mind sharing that story, or is that something you don't want to?
I mean, we can.
Okay. I think it's an interesting example of like some, you know, because the doctor said it's the inflammation from the disease can cause cognitive issues. So.
And that was at least 2 years ago when we went whitewater rafting.
Okay.
So that was a while back. But we were at a restaurant and we were all looking at the menus, trying to figure out what we were going to order. So we had kind of made up our minds. Mark, I believe, ordered something that one of our friends ordered, so they got the same thing. So we're sitting there having a good time. Food comes, and he looks at his food and he says, "What is this? I didn't order this." And we said, "Yes, you did. You ordered that." And he says, "No, I didn't." And we all looked at each other like, we were all here together. So it's like, "Yes, you did. We heard you say that you ordered that." And he was very adamant. "I did not order that. I ordered the so-and-so." So we called the server over. The server had written down what he'd ordered. And our minds were just blown. Like, wow, like what just happened?
So did those moments kind of progress then over, or continue? Maybe not progress, but continue.
I mean,
maybe not to that degree, but
I don't think to that degree. And it was just more like a between us kind of thing. Like I would tell him something he didn't remember, or he thinks he told me something, and he would always joke that I had such a good memory. So I'm like, I could literally tell you where you were, what you were wearing, where you were standing, where you were. As far as my memory goes, I'm like, no, you never said anything, or you didn't tell me this. So it was just sporadically, just throughout the last couple of years. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I almost felt like I was going crazy. Like there's something wrong with me because I know what I said or what was said or what was not said to me. And yes, we have moments where we forget, but there are times I'm like pretty adamant, like I know I would have remembered because you are important with the things that happen between us or what's happening. It's important. I would remember.
Yeah.
So it was very like interesting. And then I know like there was a little bit of hearing loss in his ear. Like he just had a harder time. I don't know if you ever experienced just the one, I think it was his left. And I remember suggesting, hey, maybe you should go get that checked out. And he just did not want to do that. And I don't know if it was just a sign of aging kind of thing and he just didn't want to admit. I don't know. But I know that there was something with the ear, and I don't know if that correlates to the whole cancer thing or not, but it's just little things over time. It's just like, that's just so odd.
But you said he had always had acid reflux, right?
Yes.
Okay. But it really just ramped up before the diagnosis? Interesting.
And it seemed like at one point maybe he thought it was just like certain things that he was eating, but then it was just everything.
Yeah.
It just became progressively worse in such a short time.
Right. Was he on anything for acid reflux?
He did. He was on something for acid reflux, but that wasn't even helping at this point. And he'd been taking that for a year, so there were no issues.
Hmm. Okay. Do you have any back pain or anything like that?
No. It was just like a weird sensation in his abdomen, and then the bloating, and then just the acid reflux. That's all there really was.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the fatigue, but again, I don't think that was anything super significant. Again, because of his work schedule, he just felt like he never could get enough rest.
Right.
But I wonder if that was part of it. I mean,
had he stopped running too? I can't remember.
I know he kind of cooled down. I don't know if he hurt. I know he had some knee issues, so there was a short period where he didn't run for like 2 weeks or so just because of knee pain.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, he still kept going. He wasn't running as fast as he was, but he was still jogging and still just trying to keep that regimen and stay healthy.
Yeah.
It was one thing I give him credit for from the day that I met him. He was an avid runner and just making sure he tried to stay as healthy as he could with his exercise. Even when we traveled, he would go run before games, or even if we were just somewhere on a trip, he would go and just try to take a run and just stick to his regimen.
Huh. That's crazy.
It's still just hard to believe.
Yeah. Like, Thanksgiving's coming. Like, all these things that were just nothing last year.
Yeah.
Just regular old.
And we were just talking the other day, like, this is going to be the second Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving Day, he was in the hospital, and I offered to go get food for us all, and he just didn't. I think just because the acid reflux was so bad, nothing really seemed to taste as good, or just didn't do it for him. So he didn't really want anything. And then a friend asked if we could go to the movies, or Max. And Mark insisted, well, I shouldn't say insist, but he was like, no, you guys should go to the movies. And I was just telling Max the other day, I was like, I regret not just having you go. I wish I would have stayed. But who knew that he wouldn't be here? I thought, we have time. There's, it's one day. And he said, hey, go to the movies just to give us a little break from, visiting and being in the hospital, or from. It's just, I still wish that I would have stayed with him. But who knew?
Yeah. Another thing you gotta give yourself grace for.
Just like I regret not going to the emergency room with him, but I don't even know what time he left, because it was so, I woke up that morning and he was already gone, so I don't even know what time he left. But I wish I could have been there. Getting that diagnosis, being by yourself, that has to be hard.
Spains are strong, though.
Have to be, because that's what he wants us to be.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know I was a little hesitant at first, but I feel like I thought this was like making me feel like I'm reliving it all over again, but I kind of do that in my head. Anyways. And there's just so many things that I saw that I can't unsee, and things I experienced I can't forget.
Yeah. Like, when I saw him in the hospital when they had intubated him, like, I'm so glad I saw him and got to hold his hand, and, But that, I mean, that was, he was just walking around me before,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, it was, I couldn't believe that. So.
And I have to say, all the people who gave me such a hard time for always taking pictures and doing videos and things, haha. I have so many things to look back on.
Yeah.
I will never be able to forget his voice because I have so many good memories and funny videos and just what have you to listen to him.
Yeah.
And see him.
You guys did do some fun videos too.
Especially
Especially the COVID years.
Oh yes, I'm like, hey, this gives people an opportunity to really see who you are and just open up and be vulnerable and let them just really see the kind of person that you are.
Yeah.
And let's be silly and let's have fun.
Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch more videos from ABC 13 News.